Have you ever stood in a crowd surrounded by conversation, laughter, and noise, yet felt completely unseen? That quiet, hollow ache in your chest, the one you pretend not to notice. It's not weakness. It's the result of carrying too much weight that was never yours to bear. The judgment of others, the pressure to succeed, the shame of not being enough. We carry these things like invisible armor, hoping they'll protect us. But they don't. They crush us, slowly, quietly. And here's the truth nobody teaches us. You don't need to give a damn about everything. In fact, the art of letting go, of not giving a damn about what doesn't matter, is one of the highest forms of strength. It's not about arrogance, it's about clarity. It's not about shutting out the world, it's about standing firm in who you are. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. It doesn't ask you to stop feeling. It asks you to stop being ruled by feelings that sabotage your peace. It doesn't demand that you isolate yourself. It invites you to connect more deeply with your values, your purpose, your reason. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now." Let that sink in. You're not broken because people criticize you. You're not doomed because you failed. And you're not truly lonely just because you're alone in a moment. What breaks us is the belief that these moments define us, but they don't. If you've ever let one negative comment ruin your whole day, you're not weak. You're human. But Stoicism invites you to become something more. There's a story I heard once. A young man builds his dream startup. He sacrifices everything saving sleep relationships. And it fails, publicly. People whisper, some mock him. He stops showing up, stops speaking. The shame paralyzes him, until one day in a quiet moment he finds an old copy of Epictetus's Discourses, and one line hits him like lightning. It is not events that disturb people. It is their judgments concerning them. For the first time, he sees clearly he wasn't crushed by failure. He was crushed by fear of judgment, of looking stupid, of not being respected. And in that moment, he begins again, not with desperation, but with purpose. That's Stoic philosophy in action. Not a grand theory, but a simple shift in how we carry pain. Because let's be honest, you will be judged. You will be doubted, and you will fall. But Stoicism whispers, good, use it. You see, pain is not your enemy. Your reaction to it might be. That twist in your gut when someone mocks you, that's anger asking for attention. That feeling of invisibility when no one notices your work, that's your craving for external validation, not being met. But the Stoics knew that if you can sit with those feelings and not let them drive the wheel, you're already winning. This is what they meant by emotional control, not denial, not repression, but the ability to say, I feel this, I accept it, and I choose my next move based on wisdom, not impulse. We live in an era obsessed with instant validation. We post and wait for likes. We perform and crave applause. We succeed and still feel like imposters. Why? Because we haven't cultivated mental strength. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Bravery isn't charging into battle, it's standing calmly while the world misjudges you. It's choosing not to react when someone pokes at your scars. It's staying steady in your lane even when everyone else seems louder, flashier, faster. Self-improvement begins with subtraction, not by adding new habits, but by removing false beliefs, like the belief that you must win everyone's approval, or the belief that failure is fatal. It's not. Failure is feedback. Criticism is noise. Judgment is projection. You don't have to internalize what wasn't meant for you. How much of your suffering comes from the weight of things that don't belong to you? What could you become if you finally put them down? Let's talk about Memento mori, the Stoic reminder that death is always near. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. You could leave life at any moment. And if that's true, why are you wasting energy trying to impress people who don't even truly see you? Think about it. The fear of looking foolish, the pain of not measuring up, the resentment of being misunderstood. Will any of it matter on your last day? Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, faced death every day. And instead of chasing luxury or revenge or glory, he chose presence. He chose peace. He chose what mattered. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." So the next time someone judges you, pause and think, will this matter when I die? If not, let it go. That's memento mori in practice. Let it liberate you from the cage of public opinion. One of the most beautiful concepts in Stoicism is amor fati, the love of fate. Not just accepting what happens, but loving it. Not just surviving hardship, but embracing it as your teacher. Did someone betray you? Good. Now you understand loyalty. Did you fail? Good. Now you understand resilience. Did someone misjudge your heart? Good. Now you understand the power of staying true even when unseen. Amor fati says, whatever happens, I will love it, because it's shaping me. You don't control the wind, but you can always adjust your sail. And that's the Stoic art of not giving a damn. It's not that you don't feel, it's that you know what's worth feeling. It's not that you're numb, it's that you're aware of your path, your power, your peace. Are you reacting like a puppet or responding like a philosopher? One path leads to chaos, the other clarity. Have you ever noticed how much of your day is spent reacting? Someone ignores your message, you assume they don't respect you. Your idea gets rejected in a meeting, you feel humiliated. You scroll social media, see someone else's perfect life, and suddenly yours feels small, insignificant. This modern life filled with screens and opinions has made us hyper-aware of everything except ourselves. And the irony, the more you try to control how others see you, the more you lose sight of who you really are. That's the cost of giving too many damns. The Stoics knew this trap well. They lived in empires where status was everything, where reputations made and broke legacies. Yet they trained themselves to remain grounded not in applause, but in values. Epictetus, born a slave and later a respected teacher, put it simply, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let that sink in. In a world obsessed with looking smart, sounding impressive, being respected, he tells us, be content being underestimated. That's power. Because when you no longer need validation to feel whole, you become unshakable. When judgment no longer dictates your identity, you become free. If people's opinions still control your self-worth, then they still own pieces of you. Why keep renting out your soul to strangers? Let's zoom in on a silent epidemic loneliness. Not the kind where you're physically alone. The kind where you're surrounded by people yet feel unknown, unseen, misunderstood. You could be in a room full of friends and still feel lonely if you're always performing. Never real. That's the cost of needing to be liked. But Stoicism offers a radical shift. It's okay to be misunderstood. It's okay to walk alone if your path is true. It's better to stand still in authenticity than to run fast in the wrong direction just to fit in. Seneca wrote, "A wise man is content with himself." That's not arrogance, it's alignment. When you know your values, when you act in accordance with your purpose, you become your own home. Loneliness doesn't disappear, but it no longer defines you. It transforms into solitude. And in solitude, strength is born. Because it's there in the quiet, away from applause, where your real character is forged. Think of the last time someone insulted you. Maybe they questioned your abilities, mocked your dream, called you too sensitive or too intense. The sting you felt, that wasn't their words. It was your story about their words. That's what Stoicism invites you to dismantle. You can't control what people say. You can only control how you interpret it. You can only choose whether to carry it or leave it on the floor. When someone attacks you, they're revealing themselves, not defining you. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. This isn't denial. This is emotional control. To sit with pain, to breathe through rage, to feel anger rise, and not let it make your decisions for you. That's real power. Because anger is seductive. It promises control. It gives us a target. But underneath it, there's almost always fear. Fear of being disrespected. Fear of being powerless. Fear of being exposed. And fear, like fire, either burns you or forges you, depending on how you hold it. What if every insult was actually a test? Not of your worth, but of your wisdom. Not of your toughness, but of your training. The modern world trains you to react. Someone cuts you off in traffic, yell. Someone criticizes your work, defend. Someone ghosts you, spiral. But Stoic philosophy trains you to respond, not react. Reaction is impulsive. Response is intentional. And intention, when paired with mental strength, becomes the foundation of resilience. You don't rise by escaping pain. You rise by engaging it with clarity. That's what Marcus Aurelius did during a plague, political unrest, and betrayal by people he trusted. He journaled through it all, reminding himself to hold the inner fortress. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Read that again. Most of your suffering comes from forgetting where your power lies. You don't control how others treat you, but you control whether you believe their judgment. You don't control the chaos of life, but you control how calmly you stand in the storm. That's what real self-improvement looks like. Not flashy habits, but quiet alignment. It's the daily decision to choose reason over reaction, presence over performance, peace over pride. Let me tell you a quick story. There's a woman, let's call her Claire. She's a mid-level manager, always overlooked for promotions, always told she's not assertive enough. She takes it personally, starts changing, talks louder, dresses differently, tries to become what others expect. Still nothing changes. Until one day, reading a quote from Seneca, something shifts. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Claire realizes she's been chasing approval instead of mastering her own standard. She starts journaling her values. She gets clear on her purpose, not to impress, not to prove, but to live aligned. Within months, her energy shifts. She doesn't beg to be seen anymore. She leads calmly, powerfully. That's Stoic philosophy, not theory. Transformation. And that's what you're capable of. But only when you stop giving a damn about the wrong things, about being liked by everyone, about fitting into expectations, about controlling how people perceive you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. Let them talk. You have more important work living with courage. And if you fail, good, because failure is the tuition you pay for wisdom. And wisdom is the currency of freedom. You don't need everyone to understand you. You just need the strength to understand yourself and live that truth relentlessly. Let's land on something deeper. The ultimate Stoic principle, Memento mori. Remember, death not to be morbid, but to be honest. You won't be here forever. Neither will your critics, or your doubts, or the people whose opinions you now fear. So what then? Will you spend your one life adjusting yourself for people who barely see your soul? Or will you finally live not recklessly but purposefully? The Stoics say, choose wisely, choose now, because there's no time for anything else. And finally, embrace amor fati, love your fate, not just endure it, not just accept it, but love it. Even the pain, even the silence, even the missteps, because every hardship, every insult, every rejection, it all shapes your fire. You don't become strong despite it. You become strong because of it. That's why we don't give a damn about the noise. Not because we don't care, but because we care deeply about the right things. Purpose, peace, presence. That's the Stoic art. Let's stop pretending this is easy. It's not easy to be misunderstood. It's not easy to walk alone when everyone else is clapping for someone else. It's not easy to let go of bitterness when life keeps handing you disappointment. But here's the deeper truth. It's much harder to live a life chained to fear. Fear of being disliked. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of saying the wrong thing, choosing the wrong path, becoming the person no one claps for. Most people don't live, they perform. They move like ghosts through their own lives, haunted by 1,000 what-ifs, never daring to disappoint anyone except themselves. But Stoic philosophy asks you to do something radical. Disappoint others if it means honoring your truth. Stand alone if that's where your integrity lives. Let them mock, criticize, reject, and you keep walking. Because if you're anchored in your values, nothing outside you can shake you. That's not ego, that's liberation. If you never risk being misunderstood, you'll never be truly known. You'll just be accepted for a version of yourself that doesn't exist. There's a man named Jake, ex-military, quiet, disciplined, razor-focused. After retiring, he enters the corporate world. He quickly realizes he doesn't speak the language of performance reviews and office politics. He's blunt, too honest, too intense, they say. He starts to shrink, water himself down, avoid conflict, but it eats him alive, because every day he's drifting further from who he is. Then one night, while reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, he pauses at this line, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That was it. He stopped shrinking. He stopped apologizing for his discipline, his clarity, his values. He started leading not loudly but boldly, not by fitting in, but by showing up whole. 6 months later, he's offered a leadership role, not because he chased it, but because he embodied it. You see, when you stop caring about applause, your presence becomes magnetic. When you stop chasing external control, you master emotional control. You stop reacting like a child. You respond like a leader, not just at work, but in life. Imagine this. You walk into a room, people look at you. Some smile, some don't. Some are curious, others judgmental. Most people crumble inside. They scan the room for approval. They morph. They try to say the right thing, be agreeable, avoid judgment. But not you. You stand grounded, not cold, but calm, not arrogant, but present, because your sense of worth isn't hanging on anyone else's opinion. That's what mental strength feels like. It doesn't mean being emotionless, it means being emotionally sovereign. To feel everything and still choose your response. To hear judgment and still act from principle. To feel fear and still move forward. That's the Stoic way. When you stop giving a damn about being liked, you start being respected, not by everyone, but by the right ones, and most importantly, by yourself. We live in an age of noise. Everyone has a hot take, a loud opinion, a reason why you're wrong. You post one thing and strangers rush to tear it down. You try something new and people roll their eyes. But here's what they don't understand. Your worth is not up for debate. Your path doesn't require their map. Your purpose was never meant to be crowd-approved. Stoicism teaches this. If it's right, do it. If it's true, speak it. If it's noble, walk it even if no one claps. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." Craving approval is poverty of the soul, because the more you need to be liked, the more you betray yourself. And every time you betray yourself, you dim a little. You become more polite than real, more filtered than free. But every day is a chance to return, to remember that self-improvement is not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming real. Less armor, more essence. Less image, more integrity. Let's go deeper. Picture your funeral, not to be grim, but to be clear. Memento mori. Remember, you will die, I will die. Everyone who ever judged you, doubted you, dismissed you, they'll die too. In the end, none of their opinions matter. Only one question remains. Did you live honestly? Did you lead with courage? Did you show up fully, even when it cost you comfort? Did you follow your truth even when it meant walking alone? This is not morbid. This is the lens that reveals what matters. Memento mori cuts through the noise. When you live like you'll die, you don't waste time being small. You don't let other people's ignorance shrink your light. You don't chase trends, you chase truth. And you stop giving a damn about the things that won't matter when you're gone. What if you lived today like it was your last chance to honor your values, not impress your critics? That's not fantasy. That's Stoic fire. And then there's Amor fati, the love of fate. Not just accepting what happens, but loving it, every twist, betrayal, failure, because it's all fuel. You weren't broken when they rejected you. You were redirected. You weren't cursed when they mocked you. You were carved deeper. You weren't losing when it hurt. You were learning how to rise. Amor fati is the art of turning wounds into wisdom, of saying, this didn't go my way, but it is my way. This pain has purpose. This silence holds strength. This failure is fire, and I will rise through it. That's why you don't need to give a damn about the noise, because you found something louder than approval, your own voice. You found something deeper than comfort, your own conviction. You found something higher than success, your own soul walking in alignment. Let's close with this. The Stoic art of not giving a damn isn't about apathy. It's not about detachment. It's about discernment. It's about knowing what to care about and caring with everything you've got. It's about knowing what to stop caring about and letting it die. It's about building a life that doesn't need to be explained, a heart that doesn't need to be defended, a mind that isn't held hostage by opinions, rejection, fear. You weren't made to perform, you were made to live with fire. So live, fail beautifully, walk alone if you must, be misunderstood if you must, but don't ever shrink to fit into their frame. You are here to lead. And Stoic leadership doesn't chase applause. It embodies truth even when it costs you, especially when it costs you. So stop giving a damn about the noise and start giving your full damn to the life that calls you. If this message stirred something in you, don't just nod. Act. Take 5 minutes tonight, just 5. Write down what you truly value, what you stand for. Then write down what you've been giving your energy to, fears, opinions, past wounds. And choose where your dams go. Choose who you are when no one's clapping. Choose your values over validation, because in the end, that's all that will remain. And that's the Stoic art of not giving a damn.